Alright, guys. Hey, this is Chad Everett Broshears, the host of Growing Up in the Wilds of Suburbia. And please forgive any of please forgive any of the missteps here. And I'm going to say it again, the intro, because I just started recording this. This is the fourth video I've made today, or at least attempted making. So I've had a bit of technical difficulties, and this time around I'm going to actually just record it as well, not just stream it. So again, this is Chad Everett Broshears. I'm the host of Growing Up in the Wilds of Suburbia. All right, so today's video is, and I've recorded about an hour's worth of material in the last two full-length videos that did not get published correctly. One without audio, the other one just didn't take. So I hope that this one does take. All right, let's get right into it. So the reason why I'm making today's video is because of recent events, have had some comments about jumping to conclusions and the emotional polarization of specific titles and videos and or articles with public issues, and then creating more identity, politics, divisions, and race and class. But predominantly right now we're back to the race thing, more so than the class issue. Now, what I've chosen to do, because it doesn't really seem to be effective to continue to go back and forth, getting emotionally polarized and then trying to talk people off the ledge, or becoming extremely emotionally involved in something before you have all the information to be involved in it. So this particular thing that I recently published on one of my social medias was about a recent event. Now, mind you, this is all taking place while we're inside of this quarantine because of COVID-19. We're shelter-in-place orders. We're starting to lift some of those restrictions. A little bit of the light at the end of the tunnel is going on, and there's still a lot of frustration going on. So there's a transference experience and emotion that's also taking place with the already existing, prior to COVID-19, polarization thanks to politics involved in media. So people are getting overly invested in all kinds of things. So whenever you hear for me, just so you have a basis here, if I read an article or I hear the introduction to a video, or even read the introduction to a video, doesn't matter. Predominantly, if I see something published through one of the major media news organizations, if it's a criminal situation where police have handled it, I'd rather go to the direct data that's been released about that. That is the police report itself. I really don't want to take it from and it doesn't matter which one of the news sources, I don't want to take it from the news source directly. But I do want to use that as an indicator, someplace I need to look. So with that, I do like to go. So this particular event that is that I just commented on and posted on was involving the way that it was illustrated through the majority of the news media is unarmed black man off for a jog, hunted down by two white men with shotguns, or hunted down by two armed white men. It's in the title in itself, tells me that there's already an intention to polarize. That sets us emotionally from, let's say you've already listened to multiple different events that are published in a very similar way. There's a black victim and a white perpetrator, and you just see this continuation. If you're unresolved in a previous article or event that's occurred, you're unresolved there. That emotion will carry over as soon as you hear the right enchantments. And the right enchantments would be innocent black man, armed vigilante white men, or just armed white men, whatever it is. You just see these polarizing statements. It creates emotional frustration that makes you feel like you need to come to you. What it is from the news organization and or these from these organizations, what they want is they want advertising dollars. How they get advertising dollars is they use a polarizing statement that triggers people to want to share the video or the article. It's a viral attempt, and the fastest way to virally spread something is to make people feel personally accosted or offended in a way that they want to share their opinion. So what they're doing is they're polarizing this to make you do that. That is the psychology involved. It's not you need to be informed. Because if you needed to be informed, the article would be one man running, two men tracked down, one man dies. It would be very boiled down to the truth, which is just the factor that these are just the people and they're men that were involved, whatever, right? You would come down to just people involved. You would just get rid of all of the identity politics of it. So I'm looking at this. I posted this. I lost 3 different followers that were, or friends, legitimately 2 of which were real friends of mine. One was somebody that just grew up in the hometown that it could be the reason why she followed me is because of the hometown thing. There's multiple different reasons what that might be. But ultimately, I realized the way that I was publishing the information would have left people with the same idea, which is it's the same argument. I'm tired of the argument. I don't want to contribute to it any further. I understand that some people have experienced some things. I actually wasn't somewhat. I was directly told by someone recently that I have never experienced racism, therefore I'm not really able to speak on it. And I thought that was actually kind of a racist statement in itself, because it was identifying me as a race and I wasn't going through something, so therefore I can't speak about it. And it takes away your personal experiences. I understand that whenever other people experience it, and I also have experienced it myself. I don't want to get stuck in the minutia. I don't want to get stuck in the upsets. So what I'm doing moving forward is I want to do everything I can to try to raise my community, raise my society, try to raise the group up. Anybody, it doesn't matter who it is. I don't care the color of your skin. I don't care your class level of how much income you have or what political opinions that you have. I don't care about any of that. What I care about is trying to help people get to where they want to be in life. So what I'm doing now and moving forward is I am extending my resources as far as I possibly can for the time being to try to help people get out of the current plight that they're dealing in. Whatever their life experiences are, I want to help people get closer to their goal. Now, I'm not saying I have every single step along the way to get to your goal. I have not lived that many lives. But I also hold a fairly neutral position whenever emotionally polarizing things occur, which gives me the ability not to overact in a lot of things. And I take in information and I try to calculate it enough so that I'm not a victim of the perpetrator of false information or partial information. I want everybody to achieve the goals that they have, but I also don't want the people to achieve those goals off the backs of others or in a non-virtuous way or some vice-driven way. That is a very big conversation to have later. Vice versus virtue, short-term, long-term. There's a lot of variables in that, and I promise I will go over that at some point in time, but it's when it falls into the priority alignment. For now, I'm going to produce videos that are going to have, or that will be, part of the education pieces that I've been working on. That's my life's work. My life's work originally was called Ascending to Total Maturity. It transferred into a title, not body of work, but the title changed to The Human Manual. I later found out that The Human Manual was already being published by somebody else that was religiously founded, and I am not in that camp. So and I was behind the 8 ball on that. I was not a first to the playing field. So I'm still calling it Ascending to Total Maturity. Now, what this is my way of trying to give back. Again, I don't know every step of the way that it's going to take for you to get to your goals. That it really will be up to you. But what I do have is, and I will share everything that I have have limitations. I'm not going to be donating. I'm not going to be throwing money out. I'm not going to be doing anything that might be a criminal activity or something like that. But I will do everything I can to support people in this process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the ascending to total maturity stages, and then how I'm going to be doing videos in the future and how this can help you. And I'm going to try to do this to make it as short as possible. So especially since I'm hopeful that this video gets published, but like I said, the last 4 attempts today have turned out to not be successful for one reason or another. So, and at this point, I'm kind of exhausted from doing this conversation several times, especially one-sided. So, with that, there's 8 areas that I've identified in human maturity. Most of the majority of the frustrations you're going to experience in life are going to typically be a lack of maturity, the recognition that you are not mature in that area, and the emotional consequences of that, which is where you're going to make yourself wrong, that you're not emotionally capable of dealing with what you're dealing with, based off of successes in other areas in your life, or the idea that you should have achieved something faster than you did, or it should have gone a different way than it did go. So there's a lot of reasons why we associate emotion whenever it comes to this. So with that, 8 different areas. What it is first off, and I'll try to break these into the most likely chronological order. It varies depending on individuals, but overall, these are the 8 different areas of life. And I hope that this will help build you towards your goals in life. And I'll go through the right and wrongs and goal association after this, okay? So with that, the 8 areas, the first one is physical. So physical maturity. Community is the next one. How you interact with your community and how you behave with that overall, and what your expectations in return from your community. Cognitive, that's your learning processes and the way that your brain actually functions throughout. But that's the more of the what goes in versus what comes out cognitive concept. Emotions. A lot of people believe that you cannot develop your emotions, or they've never thought about developing your emotions. You can. One side is callous, which is where you become non-responsive, or you don't show a whole lot, or you refuse to look at it because of your past experiences and pain. The other is avoidance and emotions. So either one of those are undesirable outcomes to emotional development, because a lot of the times if you don't have guidance, you're not going to have an awareness, you don't know where to go with it. Therefore, the emotions, you sit in this place where you're just kind of like, I don't want to address that. It doesn't necessarily mean I don't want to address that. It means I'm avoiding it, as much as avoidance would be, that's something I'm very emotionally upset by and I don't want to touch it. There's that neutral position, which is I don't know what to do with it, therefore I don't think I can do anything with it. And then there's the screw everyone, or the I don't care and I'm going to do what I want, which is the callous mindset. Okay, so that's the emotional piece. That's number 4. Number 5 is the financial. Now, the reason why I've labeled this the way that I have is a lot of children, as they're growing up, get allowances, or they get some sort of commerce concept, which is privileges that they can enter exchange, or they create a value system that affects them in a way that's a commerce type way. Business is customer, proprietor, and or if you're independently wealthy, you still purchase. So you're still in that customer category. You may not necessarily be functioning in a business. You may be living off of accrued wealth that maybe your parents or somebody else, or something happened to you and you've accrued wealth. But either way, no matter what, you can't escape business and life. You're going to interact with people. So where you spend your money also has a reflection of values to you. It may not necessarily show up right now, but over time with thought, you may start to associate values with the way you spend your money with businesses. Sexuality. Sexuality is a very big one, but overall, all of them are actually pretty big subjects. But from the very beginning, or the onset, or the superficial view of it, sexuality will be It'll be the way that you dress, the types of cologne or perfume that you wear, the way that you carry yourself throughout the day, interacting with other people, have sexuality involved, even if it's not necessarily I'm on the market, you still have an expression of yourself. And if you don't have that particular element, there's something that'll seem like it's missing because it is a part of human nature. And then there's spirituality. Now, again, just to touch real quick on sexuality, I'm not talking about gender preferences, although that is something later on. You can choose whatever sexuality, like persons that you choose to be sexually intimate with. That's all your call. I am not here to tell you what's right or wrong there, but more to create clarity so you can build and construct your life in a way that you feel like it is truly satisfying and that you are really achieving life's goals and life's dynamics to goals, because there is a big element to the life goals versus this is what my target's on for the time being. Like, I want to be rich, and then, well, so what? You get rich and you have no other joys in life. Are you going to feel satisfied? And that's going to be something that you kind of come to conclusions with on your own, or you come to conclusions with throughout this process. Spirituality, for clarifying so that there's not a lot of confusion in this. If you're spiritually religious, perfect, fantastic. Let's understand how your religion works in your life. If you're spiritual without religion, fantastic. Same thing. Let's figure out how you associate that spirituality with your life. If you're non-religious, atheist, let's figure out where you are with spirituality in your life by a definition what spirituality is. For me, spirituality really comes down to purpose. Purpose would be the future of what you will create and how you are in alignment right now with that goal, whatever it is. If you're not clear about it, anxiety and depression is a likely outcome because you're not going to feel like you're doing anything that contributes to existence. You may be just existing. Now, your purpose may be raising a family, it may be starting a business, it may be starting a charity, it may be rectifying wrongs that you really want to make right. There's all kinds of things that create purpose, so that's all in your world. But I can't tell you what's right or wrong. That's not my job. It's not what my purpose is. So that's what spirituality is overall for me. Now, purpose is the forward piece, which is the future of you. Legacy is the history of you. Not everyone has a legacy. So for me, it's the history of you. Whenever you define legacy, legacy is the history of you that other people are willing to share. If no one else is willing to share it, your legacy is kind of silent or dead. Now, no one wants to live a life that no one else remembers. That doesn't seem to be the way that we contribute to the group and the way that we want to see us all move forward, or the people that you love move forward, which would be your tribe or whatever. So purpose is forward, legacy is behind. The present is built off of what's behind and where you're going. Clarity reduces anxiety and gives you the sensation that you matter. All right, so that's that piece. That's the 8 areas. I'm going to be going into different videos over time in each one of these areas. Some of them will cohabitate and or be associated with each other. I broke it into compartments because that's more likely to be what we develop our lives by anyway, because that's how we were trained in our adolescence through schooling. Everything was broke down into compartments so that it was better to understand, so we could guide it better. The exact same intention for this because we're familiar with it. Overall, I want to try to reduce the frustration so we can stop the blame game and we can start taking more responsibility for ourselves. If you say, eat the rich, every time I hear that, I think of a child throwing a temper tantrum. If you don't understand what it takes to be rich, if you don't understand what it takes to get to that level that you're saying, I can't achieve it, but we should consume it or destroy it, it tells me you're not equipped to have it. So with that, I would rather help you become equipped to have whatever it is that you see that is something that's fair or unfair. If you see something that's unfair, a lot of times it's you just don't know what it takes to get there to make it fair. It's always we want to take everything personally, but we don't want to take things developmentally. I want to take it personally, not developmentally. And I really want to make that a movement. I realize I'm taking this personally, but I need to take it developmentally. And developmentally would mean I am where I am. I know where I want to be because I feel something here. I don't necessarily know how to get there. That's the space. Where you are and where you want to be is the developmental space that we need to focus on. That's it. That's what I want to do with this series. So moving forward, I promise you, I'm coming from a place of love. I'm coming from a place of compassion. I'm coming from a place that we can frickin' do better. But we've got to try, and we've got to put it out there to do it. So with that, to get to the right or wrong ideas, and then I'm going to close up the video. Right or wrong. There are very few right or wrong absolutes in life, but there are a lot of individual right or wrongs. If you want to associate a right or a wrong, you have to understand the goal. If you understand the goal, then you can start associating the behaviors that are going to get you closer to the goal or further away from the goal. You need to understand everything that you currently know about that goal, everything that you don't know about that goal. And you have to be open to what you don't know. And discovering what you don't know is a simple process. You take into consideration and function what you know. You take into consideration what you don't know, but you know that you don't know it. You start dabbling in that arena of the things that you don't know, and you start discovering things that you didn't know. Before you know it, you pull those into the funnel of what you don't know, and you start learning it and creating now. You just know it now. So that's the process. But most of us stay in the righteousness of what we know and making other people wrong for what you think they don't know. And everybody's blind. There's a huge blind spot to what you don't know. Now, I didn't learn this. This is not a self-generated thing. This is something that a lot of people that are progressive in the world of business, not politics, but business. I want to progress my business along. I want to grow my business. I'm addicted to growth and development. They're the ones, there's a lot of those people that are aware of this process. Now, the way that I explain the process is a little unique to me, but overall, that's how it's explained. You know what you know what you don't know, and you don't know what you don't know. That's it. It's a pie graph concept, and I promise you, if you're really honest with yourself, you'll realize what you know is small and fragment. What you don't know is small and fragment, and maybe a little bit larger than what you know. It's individual. And then what you don't know is massive by comparison, because there's so much information out there, and it's our closed minds that stop us from learning it. So with that, I am dedicating my resources as best that I can to make videos and to try to help my community to come to the place where we all get to achieve something and stop resorting to these lacking mentalities where I can't have that, so therefore destroy it. Burn the rich or eat the rich or burn it down in the anarchy. One thing you'll learn about me, if you don't already know it, I oppose anarchy. I like order. I know that some people in order do bad things for self-interest. I know that there's not always 100% great cops. I support the police officers because they support the way that I live my life and keep civility in my area. I promise you, if you're against cops, I guarantee you're going to call them if you're ever a victim of a crime. It's just the way that it works. So with that, I'm against anarchy. I don't want to see this whole system get taken apart. That's the immature mind. That's the individuals that don't know how to develop themselves in a way to actually change the world. They're the ones that just change the world because I said so, and I'm emotionally reactive right now. I am completely against the anarchist position. Now, if we want to see change, let's grow together. I don't want to see people suffering if they don't have to. It's always a pressure cooker. If you're ready to get out of whatever it is that you're getting out of, a lot of times the reason why you haven't got out of it is simply because you don't know the next step. If you have somebody else in your life that's falsely propping you up so that they can get what they want, which commonly happens if you're an attractive person, somebody that wants to just experience you physically or show you off to their friends or whatever it is, they may prop you up in a way that makes you feel like you're significant enough or you have enough development that you're capable, and they're doing it to try to make you give them reason or clout or give them what they want. And then they back off and you feel deflated. What I want to accomplish with this is that you don't ever feel that, or you feel that less often, and you know what to do with it when you do, versus feeling like that person was supporting me and now they're not supporting me, so I can't get my goal, or I'm set back on my goal. I want you to be able to be self-sufficient. Because what will happen in that scenario that I just explained or just went through, if you feel like that person deflated you, you now are a victim in that play, and you're going to offset that stress and your ability to work through it onto blaming that person. You're transferring your energy instead of, okay, fantastic, you showed me a weakness and I'm going to grow up and in that area, I'm going to develop myself in that area. You're now not looking at it like that. You're looking at it like they were wrong, and let me tell everybody how wrong they were. And you spend so much time in squandering your resources to the friends and the relationships that you've developed, family, everybody. You're now spending the time you could be and saying, you know what? I have my goals more important than being emotionally upset right now. Now, if you want to vent it, pick the people you want to vent with. Tell them you're going to vent it. You want to get it off your shoulders, and you want to move on. If you want feedback, tell them that before you start venting. I want your feedback whenever we're done. If you don't want feedback, don't put it on them as a burden because you've rejected their feedback because they just listened to you talk for 30 minutes about how upset you are. If you tell them that in the very beginning, I don't want feedback, they're not going to be listening in a way that they think they're going to give feedback at the end because they're going to feel like they're going to own a solution or to at least make you feel better. And then you take it away from them because you get upset because they gave you feedback. So overall, this whole thing is so damn time consuming, so emotionally draining, you lose a piece of you in the process, or you gain a piece of you that is the piece of you that doesn't help you get to your goals because you've now fed that wolf to make it older, to make it more mature, to make it hold you back. Because it doesn't go the same direction you're going in, that your goals are associated with. Unless your goal is to get people to feel pity for you, and you want pity parties, fantastic, but be honest about it. That's it. If that's your goal, create that reality. But if your actions are creating that reality, but you say you want something different, stop confusing people. That's what I want to do with this. That's what I am doing with this. We're going to break it down into each one of these categories. We're going to work on this. I will invite people from my community to come in to talk about what they're taking on, where they're growing, where they came from, where they are, and where they plan to go. The process and the trials and tribulations in this. All of it. So everybody can feel like they win with that person. They take something from it. We stop this crabs in the bucket garbage where it's like, well, you're not from our community, so therefore you can't say anything. I'm a human being. We all are human beings. Stop this divisionary conversation and let's produce something with our lives. So with that, let's go. Let's figure out what's holding us back and let's frickin' do something about it. Let's stop crying and making everybody else wrong for it and not doing something. You are doing something when you make somebody else wrong. You're just making everybody else understand you're going to complain about it, and or they should complain about it because they have some sort of relation that they want to get out of you. So if you don't want that life anymore, let's do something now. Make a declaration. Today is the day that I make my life different. Every day following this, I'm going to do something 1% every single day. Within 1 year is 364 to 365 degrees of difference. It's a year's difference. Let's make it together. So moving forward with me, let's go here. Let's go there. I'm planning on doing at least 3 of these a week. Now, I'll do more if I get enough of the response in the community to ask for more. I will also do more if I get enough support across the board. I'm going to draw from as much as I can. I'm going to give you everything that I can. And I'll take your contributions as best that I can, as structurally sound as I can. But just share this video with the people in your life that you think it'll make a difference. Let's get together. Let's make as a community, we're going to make a difference. I don't care about your race. I don't care about your gender. I don't care about your classification and where you are and your finances and all the rest of that. I don't care about that. What I care about is that we make a difference. And moving forward, let's do it together. Okay? This is the part of it. Growing Up in the Wilds of Suburbia is the channel to just talk about the overall growth and development in suburbia. And the overall, it's rural America too, or whatever, but it's just how we come up in our environments is what the intention of that is. This part of what I'm doing is a little bit beyond that. This is me giving back the developments and the things that I've developed in the last 6 years now of the maturity programs that I've been working on. I want everybody to have something they can make their life different with. So with that, guys, thank you so much for your time. Please tune in, share the video, like it, subscribe, suggest it, donate if you can. The better off. I mean, if I can get to the point that this is the only thing I focus on, then we'll all be able to move forward. But please join me in this process. I don't know everything, but I do know enough to at least get me where I am now. And damn it, I want to share it, and I really want to be able to learn from you as well. So with that, it's Chad Everett Bro Shares. I'm the host of Growing Up in the Wilds of Suburbia. The channel is Growing Up in the Wilds of Suburbia. Until next time, let's think critically. Let's do this together. Let's stop being so frustrated and do something with this energy. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I look forward to the next time we have this conversation. All right, guys. We'll see you soon.